Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, everyone, let's get started. It's 2 o'clock. My name is Rob Altamont, and I'll be your moderator for today's Eureka webinar titled QuikFit, How It Can Increase Your Sales and Club Making Efficiency. The webinar will be led by Eureka's Technical Director, Jeff Summit. Let me give you a few little background tidbits about Jeff. He's worked in all facets of club making and repair since 1984 and has devoted the past 20 years to researching, testing, and analyzing thousands of different golf shafts. He has compiled his findings and research into the Dynamic Shaft Fitting Index, which is featured in the best-selling book, The Modern Guide to Club Making, which, by the way, is now out in its 6th edition and is now available in full color for $29.95. And the other book he has written is Total Club Fitting in the 21st Century. Additionally, he has authored the annual Dynamic Shaft Fitting Addendum, which instructs club fitters in the proper fitting and selection of shafts. Both books are available for sale online at eurikagolf.com. Let me get a few housekeeping items out of the way first. Your audio settings are muted, which means we cannot hear you. And if you have any questions, please use the question box located in the upper right-hand corner of your dashboard. If for any reason you must leave the webinar, don't worry, it is being recorded and will be on youtube.com/eurikagolf and on our blog at blog.eurikagolf.com in about 1 hour. With that, I'd like to turn it over to our Technical Director, Jeff Summit. Take it away, Jeff.
Thank you, Rob. More importantly, thank all of those attending today's webinar introducing Eureka's QuikFit system and how it can increase your sales and club making efficiency. It seems today golfers have at their disposal numerous heads, shafts, and grips. Because of the higher cost of components and all the technical jargon, no longer are golfers satisfied by reading about a product or taking someone's word for it. They want to experience firsthand how it feels and how it performs for them before plunking down their hard-earned cash. In this webinar, I'm going to introduce to you an affordable system that you can employ in your shop to help your customers select the right equipment the first time and without guessing. Before we start, I want to go over our topics today. First, I need to explain what our QuikFit system is. Secondly, I want to go over some of the tips on installing shafts and adapters into the QuikFit heads. Next, I want to also go over how to set up a demo program using the QuikFit. And lastly, I want to show you how the QuikFit system can streamline your club making operation and how that translates into increased sales. What is the QuikFit system? In a nutshell, it's a quick and affordable solution to custom club fitting. The purpose is for fitting only, like most OEM fitting carts you see. It's designed to interchange heads with different shafts in order to find the best combination for you or your customer, what they might need. This is not a system designed for play out on a golf course. If you want something like that, then you want our Dynacraft Profit ICT driver and fairway woods with the 8-in-1 ICT adapter. Those two could be used to fit, exchange shafts, and even adjust the face and lie angle of the heads. More importantly, they're designed to be played as an ordinary club. The limitation is the adapters are exclusive to the Profit ICT heads and no others. With the QuikFit, the assortment of heads is going to be much greater. The QuikFit system works this way. Select Eureka branded drivers and 6-irons are part of the program. These heads start out the same as a regular production head you would purchase. However, they've been specially bored and then threaded to accept a QuikFit adapter. As we add more and more new models in the near future and beyond, we'll have even a greater selection of club heads to choose from. Due to boring the larger inside diameter of the hosel, the weight will be slightly less than a standard production head you'd purchase. But once the QuikFit adapter has been included, this would be about the same weight as a head and ferrule combined, providing a realistic fitting situation. Why is that important? When it comes time to build the same head and shaft combination, you know it can be duplicated. Each of the QuikFit adapters is labeled for your convenience, and there's 4 different models. There's a model for the driver and one for the 6-irons. Plus they're printed on the adapter whether they're for a right hand or a left hand head. Only one of these adapters is possible to fit into each of the QuikFit heads. To tell the difference between the wood and the iron adapters, the models for irons are shorter and thicker. The QuikFit adapters are not made of plastic, rather an aircraft-grade aluminum that's been anodized black. The reason is once these are installed onto any of the QuikFit heads, they look like an ordinary ferrule to give a professional appearance. The only difference is the addition of 2 10mm slots. These slots are designed for the QuikFit wrench. In lieu of a QuikFit wrench, you can use a 10mm open-end wrench, preferably Craftsman, as the wrench is thin enough to fit in between the slots. Because the QuikFit adapters are made aluminum, they weigh in at a mere 5 grams. Like I mentioned previously, the weight of the adapter and head will weigh the same as a stock head with a ferrule. However, it's important to understand that QuikFit adapters will not fit any other brand of club on the market. This system is exclusive to Horico branded clubs and their customers. When you purchase any of the special QuikFit heads, it will include one QuikFit adapter as part of the price. Plus, you'll be able to purchase extra adapters, which we would very much encourage you to do so. Before you epoxy your very first shaft into the QuikFit adapter, there are a few steps and helpful tips that you'll want to take note of in order to get the most out of your fitting system. While we've made every attempt to standardize the hosel length of all our QuikFit heads, there are slight differences which may alter the length when the adapters are installed onto other QuikFit heads. This is the reason why it took us so long to come up with this system and why we didn't want to add the option to some of our older models. If you plan on using multiple shafts for your fitting like I hope you do, use any of the Acer irons, and for the woods, the standard Acer XF or the PowerPlay Adrenaline as your baseline clubs. Most of the clubs we produce in the future will have the same hosel length as these clubs. One exception is the Acer XF draw driver, which requires a special gooseneck hosel to create the offset. This ultimately produces a longer hosel length that is unavoidable. And rather than leave this important option out of our QuikFit system for people who may slice, we decided that the extra half-inch length as a result of the longer hosel length isn't significant enough to affect the fitting. The club fitter can always instruct the customer to choke or grip down a half-inch on the grip to compensate for the added length. The other exception is the Dynacraft Profit Tour CNC forged iron, which will yield a 1/4 inch longer length than the rest of the QuikFit iron models. Therefore, we would suggest using any of the other heads as your baseline clubs. I should also note that the Acer XF Leggera has the same hosel length as the standard XF head and will not affect the final length. However, that model was designed to be assembled an inch longer due to its lighter weight head. The next step after selecting your baseline club is to have in your possession the correct adapter. At this time, make sure that the adapter is fully tightened onto the hosel using your QuikFit wrench or a 10mm Craftsman open-end wrench. The importance of this step is for shaft alignment. Just to let you know, the QuikFit adapters are reverse threaded, meaning the right-handed QuikFit adapters are tightened by screwing them into the hosel counterclockwise. To loosen, simply turn clockwise. And for the left-hand QuikFit adapters, it's just the opposite. To tighten, you screw them in the hosel clockwise, and to loosen, turn them counterclockwise. Step 3 will take a little explanation. As I mentioned before, the combined weight of the QuikFit adapter and the head is the same as the standard head with a ferrule. So what you're fit for can be reproduced using the same components, which is very important for a realistic fitting. One thing that we could not overcome were the differences between the bottoms of bore and the ground line measurements. There's going to be a half-inch difference between the shafts inserted into the standard head versus the QuikFit version of that same head with the adapter installed. With the QuikFit, the shaft will seat a half-inch higher off the ground. It's still much closer to the real thing than other systems that club makers have used previously. Therefore, it's going to be up to the club maker to determine if they wish to tip trim this additional mount so that it's exactly set up as they would when they're building the components from scratch. I will say, though, from early testing, the difference of not electing to tip trim the extra half-inch was negligible to no difference at all. If you're unsure and want to experiment, try with a couple steel shafts of the same type and flex. One trimmed normally and the other trimmed the extra half-inch. Then you can head to the range or head indoors into a net using the same QuikFit head to determine if there's a difference in ball flight or feel. The beauty of these aluminum adapters is they're easy enough to extract the shaft with your shaft puller. Now, once you decide one way or another to do the additional tip trimming, you can now tip trim your shaft. But be consistent with all the other shaft trimmings. That way, you're not trying to decide or trying to remember if you did or didn't add the tip trimming when you add on to your demo club selection. After completing the first 3 steps, you want to epoxy the shaft and orientate the graphics of the shafts to your desired position and allow for the epoxy to fully cure as you would any other assembly. Now, this is one time that quick-setting, high-strength epoxy can be used to install multiple shafts in a short period of time rather than waiting the proverbial 24 hours to complete each adapter. Our 5th step is to cut the shaft to your desired length. Just make sure that you didn't loosen. As a double check, I'd make sure that the adapter is still fully tightened using your QuikFit wrench or 10mm craft end wrench. The reasoning is the clubs using that shaft will be shorter than your desired length once you go to screw it into another head. The 6th step is one that you positively want to ensure that the QuikFit adapter is fully tightened onto your baseline club. If you fail to do so, then the grip won't be aligned. As a matter of fact, you want to make sure that you check the tightness on steps 4, 5, and 6. And once the adapter is secure, now you can proceed by gripping the club. The 7th and last step is to install all shaft labels or install your own labels to help identify each shafted QuikFit adapter. For example, if you're making length test clubs, then label the shaft men's plus 1/2 inch or ladies minus 1 inch. This is going to take the guesswork out later when you go to hand a test club to your customer. This will not only come in handy when it comes to fit, but also when you go to record your findings. Now, you should repeat these steps for each shaft and QuikFit adapter with your baseline head of choice. This will be important when you want to test for shafts by using one head. When you go to put the shafted adapter into another one of the QuikFit heads, the alignment of the shaft and grip may not be the same. So I might suggest using a grip that doesn't have busy graphics and that the grip is round and not ribbed. If you're making up a demo with the Acer XF Legera driver, you should assemble them to the longer suggested length and label them appropriately. These shafted QuikFit adapters can be used in other heads to demonstrate longer plane lengths, just as the shafted QuikFit adapters for your baseline drivers could be used in the Acer Legera to demonstrate a shorter length. Next, I want to go over some very important safety tips with your QuikFit system. We've tested the durability of the adapters by hitting 1,500 balls using a mechanical hitting robot. However, none of your customers is ever going to be as consistent as a robot. It's important to periodically check after every 2 or 3 shots the tightness of the adapter onto the head. The easy way to do this is simply twist the head loose and then retighten. You'll probably hear a click or a clicking sound when it breaks loose. The reason is any shot that's struck out near the toe is going to cause the head to tighten onto your QuikFit adapter. Now, you should be able to break the adapter loose with your hands. In the case you can't, like a severe toe shot made by a stronger golfer, or not breaking loose the adapter from the head and retightening after every 2 to 3 shots, the QuikFit wrench or the 10mm Craftsman open-end wrench can be used to break the head loose from the adapter. Remember that the adapter is reverse threaded, so don't further try to tighten the connection rather than break it loose in those situations. Now on the flip side, shots struck out near the heel may cause the adapter to come loose. This will occur more on the drivers than on the irons. In this case, you never want to allow yourself or a customer to swing or hit a golf ball. Otherwise, you can cause harm to other people or property in the vicinity. Simply retighten the head onto the QuikFit adapter so it's tight, and you can go back to hitting golf balls. Let's turn the tables a little bit and talk about demo clubs. If your business is a golf shop that relies mostly on walk-in traffic rather than internet sales to generate the majority of your revenue, then you need to have products for your customers to try out, which are referred to as demo clubs. These are considered normal budgeted items, no different than investing in any club making and repair tools. As a matter of fact, these should be considered club fitting tools. But there's a right way and a wrong way to set up a demo program. And before I explain these points, let me explain why demo clubs are important for you to compete in your area. If you go into a large retail shop, you're going to find rack after rack of clubs to choose from, all of which will be the name brands company's stock offerings for the shaft, grip, and the length. The retailer is going to rely on the manufacturer's advertising to drive the customer to a particular product. In cases where the purchase isn't spontaneous, a salesperson should at least be knowledgeable enough to know all the key features of the product to help assist the customer decide between certain models. Now in this business model, customers get to purchase the club before ever given a test drive, trusting that the club will perform for them once they leave the door, as generally there's no recourse in exchanging or returning the club for credit if it doesn't. Well, in recent years, retailers have become much more proactive and have installed hitting bays in which customers can hit various clubs they offer. These may be the very same clubs on the rack that the salesperson may apply some sort of protective tape on the club to keep them looking new. But more often than not, the retailer is going to have demo clubs. They were discounted by the manufacturer for their customers to hit. In addition, there's going to be situations where a launch monitor or a simulator is going to assist in determining which clubs may be best from the selection of clubs. And furthermore, the major manufacturers have begun to offer fitting carts to their accounts loaded with various 6-irons, drivers, and even sample fairway woods and hybrids. The shafts are gripped and installed onto the adapters, which can be interchanged with any of the different head models to cut down on the inventory and the space. These fitting systems can be quite expensive and may be part of a large buy-in program or may be purchased. Therefore, the retailer is usually going to be selective on which manufacturer they wish to bring into their shop, which can limit the fitting possibilities. Now, a custom club making operation has a much different business plan, where they don't rely on the stock offerings of ready-made clubs. Rather, the vast majority of clubs are made to order after a consultation with the customer and then a fitting. That's how a large percentage of Horico's club heads are sold. In order to conduct a fitting, the owner, if the sole proprietor of if it's the sole proprietor of the business, or maybe a technician at a larger custom club making shop, will need to offer a wide range of demo clubs that their customers can hit. This might be a situation where the customer hits into a net, possibly with the assistance of a launch monitor or a simulator. It could be out on the range, or even both. It's important to realize that the custom club making shop is a full-service operation that the major OEMs have started to emulate, not the other way around. Another difference is independent club making shops are not tied to any one certain brand or a stock shaft, a grip, or a length. Those are selected on the basis of specific needs and preferences by the golfer. They can pick and choose what products may be best for their clientele based on years of experience servicing their customer base. When the club maker finally decides to create a demo program, there's a few things they need to be aware of. And rule number one is to first make a budget. And more importantly is to stick to it. If you're club making for a profit, don't make the mistake of buying too much initially that you can't realistically recoup your investment. In all my years, I've seen too many individuals make that mistake. After all, making a profit is what business is all about. My second rule is to start small and then add. That's another big mistake I hear customers make, and that's offering too much up front. Don't worry, the demo heads, shafts, and grips will build up over time, usually from you wanting to know how something's going to work long before your customers will ever ask. What you might think is a small selection for your potential clientele may be much more extensive or elaborate than any one of the major manufacturers' complete fitting systems. You also want to do your homework. If your customer base is mostly retirees, then you might need a wider array of more flexible shafts and larger and softer grips than if you're catering to a more youthful base. And be prepared to have a selection of clubs, and yes, that means left-handed too, that fits your demographics. This also includes your economic environment. Believe me, there's no one magic formula. What works in an upscale urban area will be different than a more rural blue-collar setting. My last rule is don't duplicate. If you have 4 60-gram shafts, all low torques, tip stiff, low bend point, they're all essentially doing the same thing. This is only going to tie up your money when the only thing the customer is going to be able to determine between is the color of the shaft or the name brand. Now, larger shops, which are fortunate to have a lot of foot traffic or volume go through the door, may be able to get away from offering more than just one choice, which might be nothing more than an alternative price point. Yes, demo clubs can be initially expensive, but it's a wise investment if planned out well in advance. And demo clubs provide that necessary insurance that you need to fit your customers with exactly what they need. Next, I want to go over how the QuikFit can help save you money. In years past, custom club makers have relied on storing dozens, if not hundreds, of demo clubs to fit potentially any customer that's going to walk into their shop. In our first example, this is how demo clubs are traditionally set up. I'll eventually get to, in a roundabout way, the reason why we decided to come out with our QuikFit system, so please bear with me a minute. Let's do a very simple example where we take 3 different head designs like our Acer XF series. These come in a standard offset model, a reduced offset pro model, and an HT or our high trajectory model. Like I said earlier, you don't want to duplicate when it comes to your demo clubs. Now we want to pair these with 3 steel shafts and 3 graphite shafts in each of the different men's flexes. Therefore, we're going to need 2 of each head, one for steel and one for graphite. Plus, we're going to need a total of 6 grips. As you can see from this chart, the cost of the components for the 6 demo clubs come in round figures to $165. Now, none of these shafts are out of the ordinary and more in the average price range. Plus, the Golf Pride Tour Velvet is the most often found grip on the market. In this situation, the clubmaker has to decide which shafts to go in which heads. Chances are the 2 S-Flex shafts are going to go into the Pro version, and the 2 A-Flex shafts will go into the HT model, leaving the 2 R-Flex shafts to go in the standard model. This would be the logical thinking with the options we have at hand. But inevitably, in this scenario, someone's going to walk into your shop that's more suited to R-Flex but doesn't want the offset. And of course, neither of the R-Flex shafts are going to be installed on the Pro model for your customer to try. Well, guess what? This is how additional demo clubs are born. Now let's show you what the same amount of money invested in the QuikFit demo will get you. In this chart, you could see that we have the exact same components. We have our 3 heads and our 6 different shafts. The difference is what the end result will yield for the clubmaker. Initially, the QuikFit heads appear more expensive, but remember that each one comes with its own adapter. Once we install each of the shafts onto the QuikFit adapters, as I explained earlier, we have 6 test shafts or shafted adapters. Now it's possible to put each one of those 6 test shafts in any of our 3 QuikFit heads. Therefore, we have a total of 18 combinations of clubs for someone to fit their potential customers with. If we wanted to make up those same 18 clubs in a demo program, look at how much money this would tie up the clubmaker. With the QuikFit system, you would save approximately $320 in this simple example, or a third of the cost. The reason is you don't need a shaft and a grip for every single situation. They could be shared. The money you save could be used for a greater selection of demos or money to run your business. Plus, the savings are much more dramatic when factoring in drivers or the use of high-end shafts. Another reason that makes the QuikFit system so attractive is the adapters. We've kept the cost low on purchasing the extra adapters as an incentive to build up your demo program. Other adapter systems that existed previously required separate adapters for the head and the shaft. But remember, the threading is already built into the QuikFit heads. This means you only need one adapter. And another key cost-saving issue with the QuikFit system is there's no minimum buy-in. You control which and how many adapters and heads you want for your shop. How does QuikFit increase your sales? Well, we've already shown that for the money, you're going to have many more possibilities available to your customers to try firsthand and not guess what's going to fit them. And if you want to add new demo clubs, it's as simple as buying another QuikFit head or buying an adapter, shaft, and a grip. Now, what happens when those expensive driver shafts are discontinued by the manufacturer? Well, after all, you don't want to have a shaft or a head in your demo program that's no longer available. Now, assume you didn't tip trim any extra off the tip. You could pull it from the adapter and reuse it into a real head. Then you still have an adapter for one of the hot new shafts that have become available on the market. Your demo program can remain current with what your customers are asking about. The QuikFit heads can serve as double duty. That is, they don't have to be used exclusively to combine different heads and shafts to find the best combination. You can be creative. For instance, you can hand the customer the head they want to hit, but with different lengths. Like I explained in last month's webinar on length fitting, You can have some steel shafts made up for the irons that are various lengths and place them on the QuikFit heads. This way you can test your customer for the length they need using the market impact spray or impact decals to show the clustering of impacts on the face. And using those same clubs, then you can continue to test for lie angle using your lie board. As I said before, the Acer Leggera head is a special lighter weight model designed for lengths of 46 inches or longer. You'll probably want to make up at least 1 or 2 shafts in that head. And if you put those same shafts in the standard Acer or some other standard head design to come out in the future, then you can create longer demo clubs. Conversely, if you use the standard length shafts in the Acer Leggera, you can simulate shorter lengths and lighter swing weights for your customers to hit. And with the Acer XF Draw, due to the offset hosel sitting higher off the ground, this is going to create a half-inch longer test club using the standard shafts. Let's see. You want a demo club with one of the new 25-gram Win Light grips for your customers to try? Fine. Make up a new demo shaft that's the same as another demo shaft, but with a lighter grip instead for your customer to compare on the same head. Or put a counterbalance in yet another shaft to demonstrate back weighting and how it may or customer. The possibilities here are endless. Soon your shop is all the better golfers will come to get the full custom fitting experience. One of the biggest problems for club fitters is finding ample storage for a space or a shop limited on space. I've walked into customer shops where they've had rack after rack of demo clubs. It was just a logistical nightmare just to find a particular club or shaft you want the customer to try. Does your demo program in your shop look like the photo on this slide? If so, the QuikFit system solves those storage issues. A handful of shafted QuikFit adapters in a small box. Same as a rack of clubs. To show you how, look at the chart for a minute. Let's say we had 5 different right-hand QuikFit irons along with 8 shafted and gripped QuikFit adapters. This would be the same as having 40 demo irons sitting in a rack. Furthermore, if you just had 3 QuikFit drivers and 12 shafted and gripped QuikFit adapters, this would be the same as having 36 fully assembled drivers for your customers to hit. The best part of the QuikFit system is it becomes portable at the same time. No more lugging around an endless supply of demos to the range like the picture on the left. Instead, you can transport your entire fitting system in just a few boxes or whatever you feel works best for you. And the picture on the right is nothing more than a typical shoe bag that can tote and protect several QuikFit drivers and irons, along with your wrench, fitting worksheets, tees, lie board, market impact spray, or impact decals. Well, this concludes the webinar on our QuikFit system. In the course, I hope I've shown how it can help increase your sales and improve your club making efficiency, and in the same token, save you money, time, and fit your customers right the very first time. Provided you with is club fitting tools you need to succeed. Now let's turn this back over to Rob and we can field your questions in the time we have remaining.
Great. Thank you, Jeff. Wonderful webinar. Just extremely informative. Thank you again. Okay, folks, we can type your questions. You can type your questions into the question box on your dashboard. Just a quick announcement. Like I said at the beginning, the new Modern Guide to Club Making book is now available. Jeff has rewritten the book. It's taken many years to rewrite this book. It's full color, and it's in its 6th edition, and is available for $29.95. online at haricogolf.com. Okay, let me see here. Just wait a couple more seconds here for questions. If not, we can always wrap it up. Maybe Jeff went through the material enough.
Let me turn the page here, and then that way I can give you my email address. And then if anybody has questions, they can either email or call the tech line.
This webinar also is being recorded and will be on blog.haricogolf.com and also on youtube.com/haricogolf in about 1 hour. All right, Jeff, doesn't look like there's any questions, so I think we're just going to wrap it up.
Okay.
Thank you again, and have a great weekend, guys.